All right, let's dive into U.S. politics today. We've got some congressional records, speeches, and some global stuff, too.
Going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, cutting through the noise and getting to what matters.
That's us.
First up, Senator Grassley talking about blood donations.
It's a good place to start. He says someone in the U.S. needs blood every 2 seconds. Every 2 seconds. Someone's life on a transfusion.
Wow, yeah, that's puts things in perspective, huh? We think about politics as this big thing, but Grassley's saying even small actions, donating blood or staying informed, can have a huge impact.
Yeah, we're all connected, and what we do or don't do matters.
Okay, so profound civic duty. From blood drives, we're going to cabinet nominations. Pam Bondi for Attorney General and Christopher Wright for Energy Secretary.
Senator Grassley loves them both. He's highlighting Bondi's experience, first female attorney general in Florida, and praising Wright's passion for energy and innovation.
But of course, there's got to be some drama, right? Senator Durbin's not so sure about Bondi. Questioning her impartiality, especially regarding the 2020 election, seems like he's worried about her loyalty, more to a person than the law.
Yeah. So what do you think is most important for a cabinet nomination? Experience? Ideology? Something else?
That's a tough one. And to make it even trickier, Durbin's praising Wright's competence, even though they're on opposite sides.
So it's like he trusts him even if he disagrees with him.
It's interesting. Nuance in politics.
For sure. Now, how about deeper into government? Have you heard of this DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency?
DOGE, like the meme.
Right. But it's serious. Senator Schumer's saying it's a hostile takeover. They're dismantling USAID illegally, getting into sensitive Treasury data.
Hold on, so DOGE is like this rogue agency in the shadows.
That's what Schumer's saying. But there's another side. Senator Rich is saying DOGE is just trying to be fiscally responsible. They're worried about USAID spending.
So are they heroes or villains? I need a flowchart for all this.
It's a lot. And then Senators Schatz and Coons are worried about corruption. No respect for the law.
And they're giving specific examples like counterterrorism in the Philippines is stalled, gang programs in Mexico disrupted, even healthcare and veteran benefits are frozen.
Makes you wonder, right? Streamlining or power grab? And who's benefiting?
Good questions. And now we're getting into economic territory, trade wars and tariffs.
This is where it hits your wallet. We're talking President Trump's tariffs.
Yeah.
Schumer and Durbin are not holding back. They're saying this is going to hurt American families, prices are going up, other countries will retaliate.
Like a global game of chicken.
And economists are predicting price increases like $1,200 a year per family because of these tariffs.
Ouch. Yeah, that's real money. And it's not just one side worried. Even the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the Wall Street Journal are saying this is bad.
Basically saying it hurts businesses, consumers, the whole economy.
It's not just numbers, it's real life. Okay, from trade wars to the FBI, Senator Grassley is alleging political bias.
He's focused on this Arctic frost investigation. They were going after then Citizen Trump, and Grassley's worried about this agent, assistant special agent in charge, Thibault. Says he didn't follow procedure, maybe even tried to hide his involvement.
And he's got emails and documents to back it up. But the FBI is pushing back.
The New York Times is defending the FBI, saying no, they followed procedure, Grassley's wrong.
But Grassley's not giving up. Now he's saying the Times is in bed with the FBI, calling it a quid pro quo, wants an investigation into leaks.
So who do we believe?
Time to think critically. Can't just take one side. Gotta look at everything, motives, evidence, and form our own opinion.
Media literacy is so important, right? We're bombarded with information. We have to sort it out.
Okay, let's move to something that could change American politics. Project 2025, this conservative plan from the Heritage Foundation. Senator Schatz is saying it's really influential.
He's saying it's like the blueprint for Trump's actions.
Yeah.
That the people who wrote it are now running things. So it's not just a theory, it's happening.
So what does it say?
Smaller government, less regulation, states have more power.
So big changes for healthcare, education, the environment, everything.
Exactly. And Schatz is worried. He thinks they're trying to dismantle the government, give all the power to the president.
What should the government do? Individual freedom versus collective good? These questions never go away.
Nope.
Okay, before we get too deep, let's remember David Kendall Pierce devoted his life to education, science, community.
Loved at Tabor Academy, more than just a teacher, passionate about astronomy, great coach, mentor, a Renaissance man.
It's good to remember one person can make a difference. Sometimes you need to step back from the politics and see the good.
Yeah, there's more to life than just politics. And speaking of things that are important but often overlooked, Have you ever thought about per diem rates?
Per diem rates. Not the most exciting topic. What's the deep dive here?
Well, think of per diems like how much does it cost us when government employees travel? It's their daily allowance for hotels, food, all that, when they're abroad on official business.
Okay, so more than just the plane ticket and hotel.
Yeah, and the amounts, they can be surprising. Like Australia, almost $1,300 a day.
Whoa, hold on. $1,300 a day. That's more than some people make in a week?
Makes you wonder, right? Are they really spending that much? Could we save some money? Especially when, like, Palau or the Philippines is way lower, like $600, $800 a day?
Yeah, different costs of living, I get it, but still. Transparency is important, you know. Where's our money going?
Absolutely. Transparency and accountability. Taxpayers have a right to know.
And this applies to domestic travel too, right?
Yep, even D.C. to California adds up, like $106 per day for travel within the U.S.
Okay, that's more like it, but still. Always room for improvement.
For sure, it's a balance. You got to do their jobs, but it's our money.
Right. Okay, let's shift gears. Senator Durbin's got this bill, could change gun ownership in America.
He wants to ban .50 caliber rifles. No selling, no making, no owning, nothing.
Whoa, that's a big one. Those are powerful guns.
Durbin's saying they're too dangerous, a threat to public safety. Got to ban them to prevent tragedies.
I bet gun rights advocates are not happy.
Oh, yeah. They're saying, hey, we use this for target shooting, hunting. It's our Second Amendment right.
This is the gun control debate in a nutshell, huh?
Yep. Strong arguments on both sides. We'll see what happens. There's like a 12-month grace period to register if you own one. But enforcing a ban? Huge.
Speaking of huge, remember DOGE? Looks like they're targeting U.S. side now.
Senator Coons is trying to stop them. He's introduced a resolution saying U.S. aid is important, helps us around the world.
Putting on the brakes, so what's his argument?
It's about national security. He says USA aid helps stop threats before they get here, stabilizes things, less migration, less extremism.
Smart, framing it as security, not just humanitarian aid.
Right. He's saying if we dismantle U.S. aid, China and Russia will just step in, will lose influence, lose security.
Basically helping our rivals.
Yep. He even said shutting down U.S. ID would be a win for terrorists, drug cartels, China, Russia. He's serious.
Strong words. So this isn't just about streamlining anymore. This is foreign policy shifting.
Big questions here. What's America's role in the world? What are we responsible for? How does that connect to our own safety?
This goes beyond politics, right? This is about our values. Okay, speaking of the world stage, there's this proposed arms sale to Japan.
Senator Risch has notified Congress. Could be selling 150 Standard 6 missiles to Japan. Almost $1 billion. These are for defense, protecting their ships.
For what Japan?
They're saying Japan needs to be stronger, especially with China and North Korea being unpredictable. And it strengthens our alliance with them.
So helping our friends in a dangerous neighborhood.
Exactly. But arms sales are always controversial, right?
Yeah.
Could this start an arms race? Make things worse?
Tough call. We want to help our allies, but we don't want more conflict.
Yeah. Foreign policy's tricky. Lots of things to consider.
Speaking of things up in the air, what about that U.S. Space Command headquarters?
Ohio wants it. Senator Risch passed on a message from the Ohio General Assembly. They're making their case.
Ohio, huh? Why them?
They're saying they've always been about national defense, going back to the Wright brothers. And they've got all these space resources already. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, NASA Glenn Research Center.
They're really going for it.
And it's not just tech. They're talking quality of life, good jobs, trying to attract people.
Sounds like a good pitch. But I bet other places want it too.
Oh yeah, this is a big competition. Everyone wants Space Command. It's like the space race all over again, but for the headquarters this time.
From space back down to Earth, something vital, the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative.
Senator Risch shared a resolution from Ohio again. They want Congress to keep funding this program. It's been helping clean up the Great Lakes.
Yeah, the Great Lakes are amazing. Drinking water, industry, recreation, so important. So what kind of work has it done?
Cleaning up pollution, from cities and farms, fighting invasive species, restoring habitats for fish and wildlife. Made a big difference.
That's good, but there's still more to do, right?
Oh yeah, we still get algae blooms, invasive species, all that. That's why they want to keep the funding going, protect this for the future.
Makes sense. Okay, from lakes to something that affects us all as we get older, Social Security.
Senators Blackburn and Marshall have a bill, want to change how Social Security is taxed. They want to raise the income level where your benefits get taxed.
So some seniors could keep more of their money.
Yeah, right now, if you make a certain amount, some of your benefits get taxed. This bill would raise that amount so less people would have to pay taxes on their Social Security.
Good for people on fixed incomes.
Definitely. It's supposed to help seniors who really need that money. But some people might say it only helps the wealthy ones, or that it'll hurt Social Security in the long run.
Yeah, tough to please everyone.
Right. Okay, how about helping rural communities specifically? There's this Secure Rural Schools and Community Self-Determination Act. Senator Blackburn wants to extend it. It gives money to counties with lots of federal land.
I've heard of that. Helps those counties pay for schools, roads, all that, since they can't tax the federal land.
Exactly. This bill shows that some lawmakers get that rural areas need help, that they're important for the whole country.
But it costs money, right? People are worried about the debt.
True, but the other side says investing in rural communities is good for everyone. Strong rural areas help us all.
It's about how we help each other, right? Federal versus local. Not an easy question.
Nope. Okay, let's talk appointments, the people who work for the government. Senator Blackburn's got a bill, wants to put limits on how federal agencies hire people.
Okay, so this is about who works for the government and how they get those jobs.
Right, the details are still coming out, but it sounds like they want to limit how much influence political people have in hiring. Could change who gets those jobs and how the agencies work.
I bet people will argue about that. Congress approves appointments, but how much power should they have in the day-to-day stuff?
That's a long-running debate.
It is. Okay, let's talk regulations. Senator Kennedy has a bill, wants Congress to approve any new rules that cost $50 million or more.
Big change. Right now, agencies can make lots of rules on their own. This would give Congress more control.
Trying to stop agencies from doing whatever they want, make sure new rules are actually necessary.
Right, they say it'll protect businesses and taxpayers from expensive rules.
But other people will say agencies need to be able to do their jobs, protect public health, the environment, consumers.
And they'll say this will slow everything down, cause gridlock, make it harder to do anything.
Less regulation versus more regulation. That's always a fight.
Always. Okay, this one's interesting, maybe a little strange. Knives.
Knives. What's the politics of knives?
Senator Budd's got a bill. He wants to make it so you can travel across state lines with a knife, legally, even if the laws are different in each state.
So cutting through the red tape.
Exactly. They're saying it's common sense, protecting your rights.
Yeah.
Your knife is legal in your state. It should be legal everywhere you travel.
But some people will say that makes it easier for criminals to move knives around.
Yeah, that's the other side. They're worried it'll be harder to stop knife crime. They say states should be able to make their own laws.
So, simple thing, complex debate. Rights, safety, what should the government do?
Right. Okay, let's talk about something amazing, World War II. Senator Blackburn wants to give Master Sergeant Roddy Edmonds the Congressional Gold Medal.
That's the highest honor, right? For people who did incredible things for America. What did Edmonds do?
Amazing story. He was a prisoner of war in Germany. He risked his life to save other soldiers.
A true hero. What happened?
The Germans wanted all the Jewish soldiers to step forward, separate them from the others. Edmonds was the senior American officer there. He said no. He said, if you want the Jewish soldiers, you got to take us all. We're all Americans.
Wow, brave. He could have been killed.
He was amazing. Courage, integrity, doing the right thing, even when it's hard. That's what this medal is all about. Remembering him, inspiring people.
Amazing. Okay, from World War II to the digital world. A new IRS rule about digital assets. Senator Cruz is not happy.
He's got a resolution, wants to overturn this IRS rule. It's about how you report the money you make from selling digital assets, like cryptocurrency.
Crypto, that's a big thing now. So what's the rule and why doesn't Cruz like it?
It's supposed to make things more transparent. The IRS wants to know who's making money from crypto so they can collect taxes and stop money laundering. But Cruz and others say it's too much, that it'll hurt innovation and slow down the whole crypto market.
More regulation versus less regulation, that's a classic fight.
Yeah, especially with technology. It's always changing, hard to keep up.
For sure. Okay, how about immigration? Always a hot topic.
Senator Kennedy's targeting a rule from the Department of Homeland Security. It's about how long work permits are valid for certain immigrants.
So this affects immigrants who are trying to work legally in the U.S.?
Yeah, the rule is supposed to make it easier to renew work permits. Give immigrants more stability, you can keep their jobs. It's supposed to be a good thing. Help people navigate the system.
But some people are against it, right? Worried about immigration levels, border security?
Definitely. They think it'll make it easier for people to stay here illegally. Immigration is tough. Always lots of strong opinions. Hard to find solutions everyone agrees on.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's move to something more positive. Celebrating diversity. Muslim American Heritage Month.
Senator Booker's introduced a resolution, wants to make January Muslim American Heritage Month, recognizing the contributions of Muslim Americans to our country.
Good. It's important to recognize everyone, especially groups that have been discriminated against.
Right, this resolution is about celebrating Muslim Americans, their achievements in all areas, science, tech, the arts, and their commitment to their communities, helping others, working with people of different faiths.
America's strength is our diversity. Different perspectives make us stronger.
Absolutely. Speaking of different perspectives, how about a resolution to honor Muhammad Ali?
He was amazing. Challenged the status quo, stood up for what he believed in.
Senator Padilla wants to give him the Congressional Gold Medal posthumously. Ali was more than just a boxer. He fought for social justice, spoke for people who didn't have a voice, showed courage and resilience.
His story is inspiring. Discrimination, losing his title for refusing to fight in Vietnam, battling Parkinson's disease. He never gave up.
This resolution is about recognizing all that. His work for civil rights, helping people around the world, his commitment to peace.
A global icon. Still inspires people today.
He does. Speaking of inspiration, how about a story about community and resilience? Senator Cassidy shared this story about Anthony Mitchell, a Navy veteran from New Orleans. He finally got his home rebuilt after Hurricane Ida.
Hurricane Ida was terrible. So many people lost everything. It's good to hear a positive story.
Mitchell's house was destroyed. He was living in his car for a while. But Habitat for Humanity, Thrivent, they helped him rebuild. He's back on his feet.
Even in tragedy, there's hope. We can overcome anything if we work together.
That's right. Okay, back to space. Ohio is really determined. Senator Portman shared a resolution from Ohio. They want new Space Force missions, maybe even the Space Command headquarters.
Ohio is going for it all, huh?
They're saying they've always been about aerospace, from the Wright brothers to today. And they're good at space stuff, research, development, manufacturing.
They've got the credentials.
They do. It shows how technology creates opportunities.
And how communities can benefit. From space, back to Earth again, water, specifically the Great Lakes.
Senator Foreman, another resolution from Ohio. They want Congress to pass the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative Act of 2024. Keep the money flowing to protect the Great Lakes.
The Great Lakes are so important. Water, industry, recreation.
This resolution is about all that. The economy, the environment. They want the federal government to keep investing in the Great Lakes for everyone.
Good example of how states can work with the federal government, advocate for what they need. Okay, from the Great Lakes to a big idea, relocating federal agencies.
Senator Blackburn has a bill. Wants to create a commission to study moving some federal agencies out of D.C.
Wow, that's a big change. D.C. has always been the center of government.
People who support this idea say it'll be good for other parts of the country, bring jobs, reduce traffic in D.C., maybe even make the government work better.
Makes sense. Spread the power around.
Right. They say it'll help rural communities, create jobs, and maybe reduce the influence of lobbyists and special interests.
But moving those agencies would be a huge job. Could really disrupt things.
Definitely. Would it really work? Would it cost too much? Tough to say.
Big changes, big risks. Got to be careful.
Yeah. Speaking of being careful, how about protecting elections from foreign influence? Senator Blackburn's got a bill for that, too. Wants to limit who federal agencies can hire, especially people who've taken money from foreign governments.
So this is about keeping foreign countries from meddling in our elections.
Exactly. They're saying people in government shouldn't be beholden to foreign powers. We have to protect our democracy, make sure decisions are made for Americans, by Americans.
It's a reminder that we have to be careful, especially now. Lots of ways for other countries to try to influence us.
For sure. Okay, back to something more practical. How much does it cost when government employees travel? Remember, per diems?
We talked about that, yeah.
Well, Senator Risch has shared more details. Here's what government employees get paid when they're traveling for work. You know, hotels, food, all that. It's all broken down by location.
Okay, so we're getting into the details now. How much is this really costing taxpayers?
Right. And like we said, it varies a lot. Like Australia is $1,249 a day, but the Philippines is $816.
Makes sense. Different prices in different places. But still, makes you think, could they save money somehow?
Good question. They need to be able to do their jobs, but we need to be smart with our money, too.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about veterans who are also small business owners.
Senator Durbin's introduced a bill. He wants to help veterans who got COVID-19 relief loans for their businesses. They're struggling to repay them, and he wants to stop the government from demanding repayment for now.
Trying to give them a break.
Yeah, they're saying veterans deserve some help. They sacrificed for our country, and starting a business is tough. This is a way to support them.
Supporting veterans isn't just about saying thank you, it's about actually helping them.
Right. Okay, let's talk childcare. It's a big problem for families everywhere, finding good, affordable care.
It is. What's being done?
Senator Durbin has a bill, wants to help nonprofit childcare providers get loans from the Small Business Administration.
So giving them money to expand, improve, take care of more kids.
Exactly. These nonprofits are important, especially for low-income families. They really help kids.
Good to see someone trying to help. Childcare is so important. Okay, back to the idea of moving government agencies out of D.C.
Senator Durbin again. This time it's about the Small Business Administration, the SBA. He wants them to move 30% of their headquarters staff to offices outside of D.C.
More jobs for other parts of the country.
Yeah, the argument is it'll create jobs in rural areas, help those local economies, and maybe make the SBA work better for everyone, not just people in D.C.
I bet people in those areas love this idea.
Definitely. They want their share of the pie, you know.
But it's a big change for the SBA. Could be disruptive.
True. Always a risk with big changes. You got to weigh the pros and cons.
For sure. Okay, how about accountability for disaster relief programs?
Senator Durbin, another bill. He wants to make sure the SBA's disaster loan program is working properly. These are the loans people get after hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, things like that.
Important program helps people rebuild their lives and businesses. But we have to make sure it's run properly. No waste or fraud.
Right. That's what this bill is about. More oversight, stricter rules, tougher on fraud.
Government programs are important, but they have to be accountable. We have to be careful with taxpayer money. Okay, shifting gears. Cybersecurity is a big deal these days.
The House Homeland Security Committee is having a hearing all about the state of America's cyber workforce. We need people who can protect us from cyber attacks, but there aren't enough of them. This hearing is about what we can do. You know, training, education, what role the government should play.
It's not just a tech issue anymore, right? It's about national security.
Exactly. Okay, how about the California wildfires? Those have been devastating.
Terrible. So much damage, so many lives lost.
The House Judiciary Committee is having a hearing. They want to talk about regulations, how they might have made the fires worse. Specifically, regulations about land management and environmental protection.
That's controversial. Some people say those regulations are the problem, make it harder to manage forests. Others say it's climate change that's making the fires worse.
It's complicated. Sometimes even good intentions can backfire.
True. Okay, from California to Native American land rights.
The House Natural Resources Committee is having a hearing on a bunch of bills about Native American land transfers, tribal jurisdiction, extending land programs for veterans, all kinds of stuff.
Native American land rights have a tough history, lots of broken promises. It's good that Congress is working on this.
Yeah, these hearings are important. Tribal leaders need to be heard.
It's about respecting their rights, protecting their culture.
Absolutely. Okay, how about a committee most people don't know much about? The House Intelligence Committee. They work in secret, but they're really important.
What do they do?
They watch the intelligence agencies like the CIA, NSA, all that. Make sure they're doing their jobs right, not breaking the law.
Tough job. Secrecy versus accountability.
Right. We need intelligence to keep us safe, but we also need to make sure those agencies aren't abusing their power.
We can't sacrifice our freedom in the name of security. It's a tough balance. Feels like we've covered a lot today. Started with blood donations, then cabinet fights, DOGE doing who knows what.
Gun control, trade wars, even space.
Per diems, moving government agencies, it all comes back to what should the government do? How should it work?
It's not just in D.C. though, right? Politics is everywhere. It affects our lives, what we buy, how safe we feel, our future.
And we can do something about it. Stay informed, talk to each other, fight for what we believe in.
Our democracy needs us to participate. The more we know, the better we can make our government work for us.
So one last thing to think about. Smaller government, effective government. How do we balance that?
It's a big question. Can we make government more efficient without hurting people, without making us weaker in a complicated world?
No easy answers. We have to think about what government should do, talk to people who disagree with us, find solutions that work for everyone.
And stay informed. The more you know, the more you can do.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Hope you learned something and that you'll stay involved.
Keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep diving.